Are we in heaven now, and what are the implications of that? Are we in the mind of God? What is God? I once heard, I think by a Christian scientist, that God could be thought of or described as sort of like a principle, sort of like gravity. And God being the creator, the first mover, the prime mover. It's like, would God create evil? If God gives humans free will and humans can create, if humans couldn't engage in evil, then humans wouldn't have free will. That might almost sound like a cliche line of reasoning, but maybe there's a reason why it's sort of cliche. So then, as humans on Earth, what is our role regarding improving the Earth and making it more heaven-like and eradicating evil? And like on one level, God is all there is, and one level, there's levels to this. And on one level, there's 8 billion humans that have unique minds and brains and unique moral perspectives. So are we all, as humans, in the mind of God? Would God create anything outside heaven? Think about it. Would God be like, yeah, I'm going to create this really bad, miserable, not fun place and put humans there? That'll be great. Or could it be that God is like, I will just create this and hopefully humans will keep it nice and heaven-like and not do anything to make heaven less heaven-like and have the illusion of not being heaven, make it seem like not heaven because humans did all this bad, evil stuff to make it less heaven-like. So like in the martial art Aikido, I think the founder talked about practicing Aikido to make evil intentions disappear, to become purified. Something to that effect. Morihei Ueshiba was the founder of Aikido, and you can read the book The Art of Peace by Morihei Ueshiba if you want some food for thought on that. In the last 20 or 30 or 40 years, technologies like the internet and cell phones have become ubiquitous. So you can watch videos like this. Artificial intelligence and large language models are now existing and on the scene, so to speak. Perhaps if we can develop large language models that develop large language models that develop AGI, that develop better AGI, that help to defeat aging, that help humanity to achieve post-scarcity and abundance, that help humanity to find ways to live peacefully. Perhaps all that can happen, although the living peacefully part may be more of a philosophical moral issue rather than a technical scientific issue. Like in every language, or in many languages, and most languages probably, words exist like good or evil, beautiful and ugly, truth and lies, hate and love, conscientiousness or carelessness, knowledge or ignorance, wisdom and foolishness. In one sense, this presents like a duality, and one could say that all the bad stuff is an illusion, all the good stuff is truth, if only the creations of light are real. But the mere fact that these concepts exist, I think, is very interesting. Good and evil, love and hate, conscientiousness, I think that's an interesting one, versus carelessness, or some other variation. Conscience can mean like our moral compass, knowing right from wrong. Consciousness means sort of an awareness, an existence, and being able to perceive and think. And then conscientiousness is more about thoughtfulness, or being aware of how one affects others or affects society, or so on and so forth. Old and young is another interesting dichotomy or duality, versus middle age. And if aging was defeated and humans could live indefinitely, in the sense of only 2/3 of all death would be eliminated if aging was defeated, people could still pass away from accidents or, drug overdoses or so on and so forth. That could reduce suffering in certain ways. But as far as the duality goes that I mentioned, as far as concepts existing, words existing, like, what are words really? So they're sounds, and sounds can be broken down into, sound waves of different frequencies. People of different genders with different types of vocal cords and muscles and lung capacities make different sorts of intonations and have a unique sort of sound. Now AI can sort of start to replicate that with, AI songs of, artists that have passed away, decades ago, but they have recordings. Now we can take words, concepts, ideas, and then apply their voice to it as if it sounded like them, with their vocal intonation, with, emotional, the emotional coloring of the sound of their voice. I think that's very interesting. And again, words just being concepts, different languages have different words for the same thing. So, if there's 3,000 languages on Earth, let's say most all of them have words for good or evil, or foolish or wise. And of course, some languages have words that are very difficult to translate into other languages, because some languages and cultures sort of have unique ways of thinking about things, or unique ideas, or unique concepts of time, or unique philosophical concepts that are difficult to translate into other languages. Regardless, words are really just, in the case of humans, intaking air, then expelling air, and using muscles to change the way the sound sounds. And yes, we all have brains. According to psychiatrist Thomas Szasz, we are quasi-biological beings, in the sense of we have a mind or spirit, or a mind and spirit, depending on how one conceptualizes it. Regardless, the brain is part of the nervous system. So, of course, humans use their brain to then sort of choose what words to speak, generally speaking. Within the brain, there are neurons, and the nervous system really is an electrical system, not like a copper circuit board. Although there are metals in the body, such as calcium, which makes up bones. And then within the neurochemistry of the brain and muscles, there are various channels that I believe use potassium, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe potassium is a soft metal. And there are a variety of different metals within the body, some found in only trace amounts. So, regardless, humans can think about various concepts and dualities. They can even talk about spirituality and the mind and theology and abstract concepts and heaven and purgatory and the world to come and God and light and physics and chemistry. So it's very interesting in many respects, potentially. So are we in the mind of God? And is humanity one family? And how can we all have inner and outer peace and establish heaven on earth and achieve post-scarcity and abundance? those are just some questions. Limitless peace.